enforcement from the ground up has made this all the more difficult. These policies have led to the free flow of illegal migrants who have put a strain on our taxpayers to carry illicit drugs north. 8 million and counting to this point. Towns and cities across the United States are grappling to manage an unprecedented flow of fentanyl that is being trafficked directly to our communities. And as a father of 6, this is the greatest single threat that my community faces. This isn't just a talking point. The Interstate 35 that travels from the Mexican border all the way through my home state, including many of yours, passes through a community just south of Des Moines. And just this year, the largest single fentanyl seizure occurred. A 35-year-old male was traveling from the southern border to Des Moines and was discovered with 30,000 fentanyl pills in his car. Luckily, as a huge credit to our law enforcement, they were able to both detect it, detain it, and safely apprehend this individual. But they shouldn't be entering our country point blank. We all recognize this is a challenge. It's impacted my community, it's impacted each of yours. Over 200,000 Americans have died from fentanyl overdoses since this administration took office and overturned our secure border policy. This year, I invited the Kidd family to join me for this year's State of the Union to hear directly about efforts, bipartisan hopefully, to be able to solve the fentanyl crisis facing our nation. As fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45, and just to be very clear, that's from my daughter's age to my age. These people are the same age as folks across our community, and over 150 deaths a day are the result of this type of impact. In fact, just 5 pounds of fentanyl can kill 1 million people. By every description, this is a weapon of mass destruction, largely produced in China, coming into the United States through a number of ports of entries, but primarily being operated by cartels south of the border. It's time for us all to face the consequences of inaction. Speaking with my local law enforcement back in my home state of Iowa, it is clear that their ability to police this themselves is not sustainable. And on multiple ride-alongs with my law enforcement, including with the Altoona Police, who I met with this morning, it was raised time and time again. This is a threat that is draining not only their resources, but is directly impacting our homes across the country. Our officers are spread thin, our constituents are literally dying, and our communities are suffering. We need to better understand the full scope of the fentanyl crisis, and we need to understand its impact on how our law enforcement address it every day, which is why, Mr. Burgess, I'm bringing it before the Rules Committee to address 2 amendments. The first is a proposed amendment that will require the Department of Justice to report to this body in Congress on how much states have spent in order for local law enforcement to be able to investigate, intercept, and process fentanyl that has been trafficked across the U.S. border. By understanding the root of the problem, we can better apply not only resources, but provide solutions that can help save lives. My second amendment would be to require the Department of Justice to report to Congress how many local law enforcement officers have been reassigned and how many local resources have to be redirected to be able to address truly a federal problem that's gone unsolved, and what that cost is resulting in our local communities to address fentanyl-related efforts. By gaining visibility into where our local officers are spending their time and effort, this will allow us to appropriate separate assets to address the issue both at the state, federal, and tribal areas, respectively. So, Mr. Chair, Mr. Ranking Member, to the members of the committee, the bottom line is that this administration must act to secure the southern border that has hindered our local law enforcement by taking them away from other aspects of community safety. The heroes that we honor this week already have enough on their plate. By adding federal crimes to their agenda only hinders their ability to help local Iowans and communities just like yours. I'm hopeful this legislation, along with my amendments, will put pressure to deal with the federal issues at a federal level and allow our local law enforcement to focus on issues that address our community most acutely. I'm proud of our officers who have already stood in the breach, both at the federal and local level, but let our local cops do their job. With that, I believe these 2 amendments will help us have the firepower to be able to fight back and save our communities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the remainder of my time.
Mr. Nunn, thank you for sticking with us for so long. I